everybody's questions.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
All right, we are now joined by UCLA head coach Corey Close and student athletes Charisma Osborne and Kiki Rice. We will start with an opening statement from Coach Close, followed by questions first in the room and then on Zoom for the student athletes, followed by questions in the room and then on Zoom for Coach Close. Coach Close, go ahead and get us started.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's such a great privilege to be a part of something and to be able to host the first two rounds of the NCAA tournament at home here in Pauley, and just, excited for the opportunity, excited to play a really good Cal Baptist team, excited to have just a packed house, hopefully, in Pauley, and encourage everybody, if you haven't gotten your tickets, to make sure you do so. This is going to be a really spectacular event. Excited to be a part. I've been doing this 31 years. It never gets old, and just really excited for the adventures ahead.
Joe Reedy, Associated Press. Kiki, it came out earlier this week. You're going to be one of 4 athletes featured on the ESPN documentary. Just what has it been like the whole season, kind of having the cameras following you around, and what's that been like, balancing everything?
Yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment. It took some time to get used to the camera crews being around, but I think it's a really good opportunity for to bring more attention and exposure to the women's game, and for me to continue to tell my story and to help amplify the stories of this team and this program. So it's been really cool, and it's been fun. We've had a lot of cool experiences with the cameras and everything, but I'm looking forward for it to finally come out.
You had a lot of attention even before you came to UCLA, and then with the NIL deals and everything. What is that balancing act like between everything that goes off the court and, trying to play your game and perform on court?
Yeah, I think I've just focused on continuing to balance and prioritize. I know obviously my number one priorities are basketball and school, so making sure that those are at the forefront, and everything else that comes with that, I'm just finding ways to fit it in and take advantage of the opportunities that I'm getting, but not losing perspective on what is getting me those opportunities in the first place.
And then Charisma, this is definitely your last go around.
Yes.
This year, after we all thought last year, just what's it like leading this team into the tournament with a 2 seed and the possibilities of everything that's in front of you guys?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. I think the team is really excited. I think that we can do some really big things this tournament, and I'm not the only one leading. There's a bunch of us out there, and I think just everyone just bringing their best and trying to get the best out of each other. But yeah, I'm super excited, and I think this team can go really far.
And then just what's it been like in the backcourt with Kiki this year? What have you seen her main areas of improvement from freshman to sophomore?
Yeah, it's been so fun playing with Kiki. I think she helps out so much, especially she plays point most of the time, so just helping communicate the calls and things like that. And I think that's the biggest improvement. That's one less thing I have to worry about, because I know Kiki will be out there and saying those things. But she's just improved so much, whether that's finishing really. I mean, she already was a great finisher, but she's been doing that amazing for us, and getting her to shoot open shots. It's been so fun seeing her knock down threes this year and get to her pull-up, and obviously she's a 3-level scorer, so being able to see all of that just improve has been so cool.
My name is Kaylin. This is for Charisma. I know you had the opportunity, like we said before, to enter the WNBA draft this season, but chose to spend a 5th year at UCLA. Can you tell us more about your decision and what went into that?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that went into that, but I think the biggest thing is now, I wanted to come back and win a national championship here at UCLA, and specifically with this group. I thought last year we had so much potential, and obviously we were so young and kind of inexperienced a little bit, and I think this year there's so much more experience, and we kind of know what to expect, so I can really see us going all the way.
Hi, my name is Amanda. This question is for everyone. There's been a rise in media around women's college basketball this season, like with Kiki's ESPN documentary, and I'm wondering what that means for the visibility of the program.
We'll start with Coach Close and then go down the line.
Yeah, I think that, we're experiencing sort of a global moment in women in sport, whether it be the U.S. national soccer team, whether it be, obviously the moment we're in right now is women's basketball. And honestly, you have more of the big names in the NBA talking about the women's tournament than you even do the men's tournament. But I don't want it to be about us versus them. We want basketball to grow. And so what I'm excited about is that women's basketball is having their moment, and we're not trying to slice the pie differently. We're trying to grow the pie. We're trying to grow the pie of exposure, grow the pie of investment, grow the pie of revenue for the sake of our institutions. We want sponsorship of women's basketball to grow. We want media rights to increase. We want ticket sales to go up. And that doesn't take anything away from anybody else. That just adds to grow the pie. And we're just at a position with more eyeballs on the sport, ratings being better than ever, that we're in a position to be real contributors. And we've gone from being a cause, maybe, and a Title IX cause, to being a product, a growth stock, a product worth investing in that's proving to have a very high return.
Agree and echo everything that Coach Corey said. I also just think as a player, it's really fun to be playing right now. And I don't know what if I'd been 10 years older and I'd played college basketball, a few years ago, I don't know how different my experience would have been. But I just think that the media attention, the really cool experiences, the exposure, the attendance at games, it's just been so fun to play at a time where women's basketball is at an all-time high.
Yeah, and I think it's super cool, even on social media, I'm seeing way more about women's basketball than I am, women's tournament than I am the men's tournament. I think that just shows, how much the game is growing, and it's just super fun to see, even, some of my friends on other teams, to, see them popping up and things like that. So I really am impressed with how much the game has grown, even since the tournament when it was COVID and there was all those disparities and things like that.
And I also think it's a challenge for us right here in LA, right? You've got two teams, that are experiencing unprecedented success in women's basketball, the UCLA and USC, and really continuing to appreciate and challenge the media to give it its due. If you had men's basketball as a 1 seed at one school and men's basketball at a 2 seed at another school, what would that publicity and buzz be like in Los Angeles? And I'm really hopeful that we will not only grow on the national and global scale, but you'll see that right here in LA by the way people are coming behind and exposing more and more people to women in sport throughout Southern California, and specifically right now. You've got, first and second rounds at USC and at UCLA. We need to blow this thing up in terms of exposure. And that's why I always say thank you to you all, because we can't take advantage of our moments if you guys aren't telling the story.
I know the focus is on one game at a time and everything, but how much do you think the experience in the Pac-12 will help in this tournament, because your team kind of drew in what soccer terms is always called the group of death with the top 4 seeds?
Yeah, I definitely think the conference schedule and the non-conference schedule that we played will prepare us really well for our tournament run, because we've played a lot of top teams in conferences all across the country, and we just know what to expect and how to prepare for tough games day in and day out, so we're not going to be surprised by top competition.
But there is no tournament run if you don't take advantage and have your mindset on one game at a time. And I know that sounds, very cliche, but the reality is our present focus is really all on Cal Baptist. But to your question, which I think is really important, is the varied styles at such a high level is such an advantage going into the tournament. Cal Baptist, they shoot an average of 32 threes a game. And we've got Utah who likes to play that way. We've played in other teams that we can draw from. Okay, our scouting report's going to be very similar to how we played Utah. And I think we draw from the varied styles of plays as we focus on one game at a time.
Any more questions for the student athletes? We'll direct questions to Coach Close.
Corey, with 2 regionals in LA, is it disappointing in any way that both are Saturday, Monday instead of being?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good schedule tomorrow if you want to see both, but there's a possibility on Monday fans may have to choose.
Yeah, I think, I really was hoping they would be staggered. Obviously, that's not under my control, so I'm not going to give any energy to it. But I think that when we're trying to think about growing the game, I think that decision makers with ESPN, for instance, or with the NCAA tournament bracketing and scheduling, I think to keep those things in mind are really important. So I thought I guess we'll see how it goes. Mostly from a media perspective, are both media is going to go from one game to the other and make sure that they're given the due that they've earned, and I think it's really important. So I guess it remains to be seen. But on my first glance, it seemed a little bit short-sighted to me.
And then just what improvement have you seen in Kiki's game this year, and what was it like kind of having the cameras around?
Yeah, I think, it's such a compliment to her because, honestly, it wasn't that big a deal. The cameras, credit to the production crew and the group that came along with us to tell the story because they were really collaborative as well as considerate to what our journey and what her priorities are. But I think that also it's so huge because I don't ever have to worry about what she said about books, ball always being the priority. And then after that, how can she build her brand? How can she take advantage of exposure opportunities? And this didn't just benefit Kiki, it benefits our whole entire program and the individual brand building of our individual players. So it was a win-win all the way around. But I think the specific things I've seen in her game really come down to 3 things: leadership, defense, and three-point shooting. And she's worked at all of those. And I remember watching her in the U19 semifinal game, and she was given the assignment of being the defensive stopper of the top player from France in the World Cup. And I remember sitting with her dad and saying, this is a new level of defense that I haven't seen from her. And that has been really fun to watch her grow in her defensive intensity and her pride, especially in her one-on-one defense. And then secondly, is just what Charisma said earlier. It's just the leadership, really learning to find her voice and what does it look like to lead and influence within her personality. And I think she's really finding that little by little, really making strides on that. And then the numbers speak for themselves from a three-point shooting perspective. If people want to go under all the screens they went under last year, they're going to pay. And she's just proven a level of consistency with her hard work. And I've seen her turn a weakness into a strength in her three-point shooting.
And then you're big on mental and the moments of joy and everything. Last year, it was the dance parties going into the tournament. Just anything new this year?
I'm not in charge of that. So I don't have enough cool points. What's the joy factor? What are you guys doing to stay loose, Charisma? You're the one usually right in the thick of that.
Well, we did have Ms. Val come and teach our team a dance, so maybe that footage will make it out during this time. I don't know. I didn't see it, so we need to approve it first. But
it's interesting, as you said that. Miss Val, obviously 7-time national championship gymnastics coach here, now a professor of charismas in the grad program, came and talked about 2 critical things. She talked about gratitude and she talked about joy and brought them through the choreography, and that's what she's talking about there. And I do think that's important. But go ahead, Charisma.
Yeah, I think our team is just fun in general. So, usually when you guys see clips of us dancing, it's not planned or anything. It's just, the right song at the right time, and everyone's just super excited.
We've got time for 1 or 2 more.
Kiki, have you been more prone to dancing this year? Because I know last year,
I don't know.
Practice, you were in the center of the circle. You were a little hesitant.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say that. I said I had to do it a little bit more. I would say there's a little bit of improvement. I don't know. But that's just a fun thing that I like to do with my teammates. And, of course, everyone's always on me because they know that I'm not the best dancer. But it's okay. It's fun.
This is our last question.
Yeah, this one's for Coach Corey. So Cal Baptist has the 12th best offense in the country, and as you said, they take around 32 threes a game. So what are some ways you've practiced to combat this strong offensive program going into this weekend?
Well, I think it's going to be a real group effort and a focus. And our ability to think tactically about how we chase them off the three-point line is going to really be dependent on how solid our one-on-one defense is with different matchups and different positions. And so it's going to be difficult. Also, they're so good in transition. And so we want to be a dominant rebounding team, but also be really good about getting back in transition. And sometimes that's a hard balance to find. We don't want to get in a situation where we're trading threes and twos. That's definitely to their benefit. So it really does start with, we've talked a lot about chasing them off the three-point line, transition defense, and for us, attacking the paint and dominant rebounding. That's the best way to slow down their transition game. And just before we go, I just want to say thank you to all of the people at UCLA, our administration, our marketing staff, everybody that's behind the scenes. This is a lot of sacrifice and work to be able to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament. It's such a tremendous advantage to our student athletes and our competitiveness. And so I just want to say thank you to all the people that have sacrificed to make this opportunity a reality for us. We understand that there is sacrifice, and we want them to feel very appreciated by our women's basketball program. Thank you all for being here.
That's all we have time for. Thank you for your time, and good luck against Cal Baptist.